So Cantor Mendelson and I have been talking this week. I'm standing, I have some words, I have quotes that I want to read. That's why I'm behind here today, in case you were worried. Everything's fine. We were talking this week, and there's this melody that we sang last Friday. We started our service with it. We'll sing it again in just a moment. It's just kind of been haunting us, kind of dwelling with us throughout the season and the holiday. It's written by Yonatan Razel. It's text from the Haggadah, right towards the beginning of the Magid, towards the beginning of the storytelling. V'hi she'amda lavotenu. In every generation rises up someone or something that seeks to destroy the Jewish people. And there is something resilient in our spirit, and we are saved. Maybe we call that thing God, that God comes in, redeems, and saves us, or there's something about who we are that allows us to sustain through these hardest moments that keep coming and coming and coming, and it's exhausting. I've shared with you before, I'm the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. I'm a millennial. I thought those were the stories of the past, and I kind of knew they would pop up every now and then, but I didn't think it was our story, and it's still here. We felt it this week, and it exemplified, at least for me, this awful tension, this awful pulling apart, and we've talked about it here, the sense of maybe abandonment or loneliness or feeling unmoored, like the ground beneath us isn't steady. In case you didn't see the news, and I imagine you did, at First Seder, at the governor's mansion in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, someone, we don't need to say his name, I'm going to speak in euphemism because there are kids, but right, did something awful to the governor's mansion in attempts for violence and harm to his family on First Seder. And what we learned afterwards is that his reason was, he said, because of what the governor planned to do to the Palestinian people, as if the governor of Pennsylvania can decide what happens in Israel and the decisions of the Israeli government. It's okay. And we felt that this year and a half, as if we're responsible for every decision that is made across the world, being held accountable for decisions we didn't make, whether we agree with them or not. It's anti-Semitism right there, right in our face. That because you are a Jew, therefore, and this is a governor who has been supportive of Israel and critical of Netanyahu, but even he doesn't escape it. We have it from this place that, at least over this year and a half, we're kind of used to at this point, which is awful and uncomfortable. Unmooring, feels like the ground isn't steady. And then that day, when a reporter asked the president about the attack, and if he had knew of a motive, here's what he said. Asked if the FBI had determined a motive. He said, "No, I haven't," in first person. But the attacker was not a fan of Trump, I understand, from what I read and from what I've been told. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody. He probably just a whack job, and certainly a thing like that can't be allowed to happen. Didn't mention anti-Semitism. Didn't mention Passover. Didn't mention that it was a Jewish governor. Made it about himself. I. Didn't like me. That's the most important part. All the while, this administration is constantly using anti-Semitism as the reason for illiberal, anti-democratic actions within our country. And that's not to say that what's happening on college campuses isn't necessary to address. But you can't declare yourself to be the defender of the Jewish people, to be committed to anti-Semitism, and not mention, because he's a political opponent, that an attack on a Jewish governor's mansion on First Seder, and not to mention the word, this perpetual sense of abandonment. and frustration. And every generation pulled apart, unsure who the partners are, where it's safe to go, who it's safe to be. Wherever we are, sometimes I ask, when are we right now? Exhausting and frustrating, and perhaps feeling lonely. And I'm getting kind of tired of the language of loneliness. I've talked to some of you about it. I've heard from you about that feeling of loneliness, that you don't want that. You don't want to feel like it's what the world is doing to us. But what are we? Who are we? And what can we be? Here's what Governor Shapiro said on Sunday before Second Seder. He said, if he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly. And in a few hours, we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again, proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly. Part of our antidote in this moment is confidence and pride in identity. It's not to hide. It's not to shrink. It's these moments. It's when we come together to sing and to pray, to gather and to celebrate, to tell a story and eat good food and drink good wine and sing and share and play and have the joyful experiences of who and what we are as a Jewish people. We need that. We can't be the ever beaten down people. We can't tell the lachrymose theory of Jewish history. We can't constantly tell our story of who tried to harm us or kick us out or expel us or exterminate us when and where and how. We need song, and we need dance, and we need joy, and we need celebration. It's not going to solve all of it, but it has to be part of our remedy. For those who joined for the second Seder here at Kol Ami, I brought a piece that was in the Shalom Hartman Institute Seder supplement. It was written by Dr. Tal Becker. He's a brilliant man, a brilliant writer. Defended Israel at The Hague against charges of war crimes. Those who are doing the I Engage curriculum have watched his videos, heard his genius. He was writing about the song that the Israelites sang at the sea. And he quoted Nachmanides, old dead rabbi, 13th century-ish, right? Okay. Nachmanides, he wrote, suggests the singing took place as they were fleeing the Egyptians, before it was clear that they would survive, not after. It was not an exalted song of celebration, but an act of faith. That's a beautiful interpretation. It's not we got to the other side of the sea, it closed up, dance and sing. It's what we sang as we marched together. When the end of the story was unclear, when we were unsure, when it wasn't time to celebrate yet, but we needed song as our mode of faith to help us walk together. He wrote, this year, singing songs of celebration feels premature and perhaps even inappropriate. And so, as we stumble bleary-eyed through the end of the Seder, let us sing with a different intention. Let us sing to show that we believe that we are committed to our ideals and our faith, and that we accept our responsibility to create and recreate a world that manifests peace. We are a people who, wherever we are and whenever we are, whether we're on one shore or the other or murkily wandering through, we'll hold hands and sing a song together. Song as an act of faith and connection and commitment of joy or solidarity, or just that little extra oomph that we need to take the next step. And this moment, we still constantly feel torn apart. Barrage from all sides. Because of Israel, this. Because of anti-Semitism, that, but not this so much. To use anti-Semitism as a tool pulling back the norms and protections that have been the bedrock of who we are as Americans, and the protections that have kept us and other vulnerable minorities safe. That's not how we defeat anti-Semitism. That's not how we solve the problems we have as a nation. We have work to do, and we need to find those who will hold our hands and sing with us. You may have also seen earlier this week, about a dozen Jewish organizations came together. Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionist, NCJW, HIAS. They wrote a statement. I'll encourage you to find it, or maybe I'll share it from our Facebook or Instagram feeds later. It was titled, "We Reject the False Choice Between Confronting Anti-Semitism and Protecting Democracy." It was long. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll read one little piece. It's possible and necessary to fight anti-Semitism on campus, in our communities, and across the country, without abandoning the democratic values that have allowed Jews and so many other vulnerable minorities to thrive. It is a careful and a delicate needle that we're trying to thread. It's hard, and sometimes it's nuanced and it's complicated, and it doesn't go well on a placard or on a slogan, but we have careful, thoughtful, hard work to do to keep ourselves and our communities safe, to combat the scourge of hate towards the Jewish people and other vulnerable minority communities in America, to find language that allows us to be true to our values, true to our people, and true to the future that we hope to create. In each and every generation, we've been barraged, pulled apart. The ground beneath our feet hasn't been steady. But we've had song, we've had community to help us take the next step forward together.